by Rush.
Good morning, America. We'll get to our show in about 20 minutes, but first we're going to have a retrospective of this week's shows with Bob Costas. I'm Charles Gibson.
And you watched last night, obviously. Cheers. I'm Joan London. It is Friday. It's May 21st. Actually, we have a lot of things going on for over a year. The headlines have been chronicling the almost unimaginable atrocities in Bosnia, including the organized rapes of thousands of women and young girls in concentration camps. Well, now a prominent U.S. attorney will try to take the offenders to court in proceedings that recall the Nuremberg trials after World War II. We will speak with noted feminist attorney Catherine McKinnon this morning, along with the woman who founded a Croatian feminist group that helped document all these atrocities. Spencer, what's the weather like?
Well, Joan, weekend coming up, a big one, and skies of blue is what I'll have for you. If you live in the western states, the weekend forecast will be coming up very shortly. Don't be bothered by that rainfall there. That's all east of the area we'll be talking about. Charlie?
That's quite a tie. What's on that tie?
Thank you. Flowers?
Tulips?
Red tulips.
Two red tulips? Yeah. Springy stuff. All right. Thank you very much. Also ahead, we're going to have this morning another case of an HIV-positive patient infected by a Florida dentist, David Acker. He was the man who infected the late Kimberly Bergalis and who died of AIDS 2 years ago. Now another patient, the sixth known to be infected by Acker, has been identified. Again, it's a young girl whose life has been dramatically and irrevocably altered. She's going to join us this morning for her first television interview, along with her parents and her attorney. That's coming up in our next, that's coming up in this half hour. Coming up in our next half hour, part two of my interview with actress Sharon Stone. But let's get to the news. Mort Dean standing by with that. Mort?
Thank you, Charlie. Good morning, everyone. So much for neighborliness. 3 of the senators from states right next door to President Clinton's home state of Arkansas are leading a new challenge to Mr. Clinton's economic plan. And they're being joined by one of the senators from Maine. They are promoting a plan of their own, and some of the differences are rather significant. ABC's Jim Wooten has details.
It was not your usual senatorial gathering. Democrats, Boren and Johnston, joined with Republicans Danforth and Cohen to offer an alternative to the president's budget, one that would kill his energy tax and focus more on reduced federal spending.
Our plan achieves a ratio of over $2 in spending cuts for every $1 in tax increases.
Their proposal also caps entitlement programs like Social Security and federal retirement plans. Not very popular, said Danforth, but absolutely necessary.
I really wish there was some painless solution. There is no painless solution.
The president said he didn't mind suggestions, but would stick with his own plan.
We had 12 years where we made this economy more unequal and unfair. And to move $40 billion off of upper-income people to people barely above the poverty line, it seems to me, is not a good way to go.
Senate Majority Leader Mitchell said the alternative plan has absolutely no chance of passage, and Senate Finance Chairman Moynihan agreed.
This proposal would reduce the Social Security benefits of 22 million people.
But there's not a lot of passion for the president's plan either. In fact, Democratic congressional leaders concede that in the House, they do not yet have the votes to pass his energy tax or his budget. Jim Wooten, ABC News, Washington.
If Iraq did plan to assassinate George Bush when he visited Kuwait recently, what should the U.S. plan to do about it? ABC Pentagon correspondent Bob Zelnick has learned that Mr. Bush is concerned that the Clinton administration is downplaying the alleged Iraqi plot. And the former president called the Secret Service to express how unhappy he is. Zelnick says the Secret Service told Mr. Bush the evidence against Iraq is compelling. There have been calls on Capitol Hill for military action against Iraq in retaliation. President Clinton will be dealing with Bosnia today. He's meeting with Secretary of State Christopher and Russian Foreign Minister Kozyrev. The U.S. and Russian diplomats are said to be near agreement on a new strategy. The New York Times reports it's a strategy that would let the Serbs keep parts of Bosnia they have conquered, at least for now. Talks are now underway with other European countries. ABC's John McCarthy has more on the U.S.-Russian discussions.
Russian Foreign Minister Kozyrev worked his way around Washington from Capitol Hill to the State Department, selling Russia's ideas for how to stop the war in Bosnia. Earlier this week, Secretary Christopher had said the U.S. opposed those ideas. After several hours of discussions at the State Department and day-long negotiations at lower levels, Christopher and Kozyrev failed to reach any agreement that they were able to talk about in public.
We're drawing closer together on a number of important elements.
It is very concrete, but we need to consult with the other partners.
What the Russians are proposing is to put monitors on Bosnia's borders, establish UN-protected safe havens, and send UN peacekeeping forces into those parts of the country where the fighting seems to have stopped. The U.S. fears that without the Bosnian Serbs agreeing to any of this, UN peacekeepers could easily be swept into the war. And even if the fighting stopped, the Bosnian Muslims might never get their land back. So why are the Russians taking the lead in all this? Because the United States and the Europeans will not. John McWethy, ABC News, the State Department.
A victory for the so-called suicide doctor, Jack Kevorkian. A state judge in Detroit threw out Michigan's new law to ban assisted suicides. The judge said there were problems with the way Michigan's legislature put the law together. The ruling means that Kevorkian will not be charged in connection with the suicide he witnessed this past weekend, at least not yet. State officials may appeal yesterday's ruling, or they may just try to rewrite the law. In Baton Rouge, Louisiana this morning, more testimony in a trial that's drawing attention on both sides of the Pacific Ocean, in the U.S. and in Japan. Rodney Piers is charged with shooting a Japanese exchange student who accidentally went to Piers' house while looking for a Halloween party. ABC's Mike Von Fremd reports on yesterday's first day of testimony.
The prosecution presented its case against Rodney Piers, trying to convince the jury he is guilty of manslaughter for the shooting death of Japanese exchange student Yoshi Hattori. Pierce says he mistook the youth for a prowler, but District Attorney Doug Moreau said people who ring doorbells are not attempting to enter illegally. The prosecution's key witness was 17-year-old Webb Haymaker. He was with Yoshi when they mistakenly thought Pierce's house was the address of the Halloween party. The jury listened as Haymaker said Yoshi saw the man come to the door with a gun. And then Haymaker showed how Yoshi then skipped towards the man, waving a camera in his hand, saying he was here for the party. Pierce told Yoshi to freeze, and when he did not, Haymaker says Pierce shot him. On cross-examination, Haymaker conceded that in the dark, Pierce could have confused Yoshi's camera for a weapon. The defense's key witness is expected to be Pierce himself. He has said that he was just trying to protect his family in a crime-infested neighborhood from what he thought was a prowler with a weapon in his hand. Mike Von Fremd, ABC News, Baton Rouge.
And finally, a woman wanted to take her pet home with her on a flight to Belfast, Northern Ireland. That was a problem for airport officials in Birmingham, England. Her pet was a tarantula spider named Boris, so she popped the tarantula into an envelope and tried to mail him home. Boris was rescued by postal workers. His owner was charged with cruelty to animals and faces a fine of $3,100 or 6 months in jail. We wonder what she wrote on the envelope. Hand cancel, do not fold, this side up. Anyway, that's the news here at Charlie and Spencer.
I'm caught up in a web of intrigue.
She wrote, "Don't bug me," I think. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Thanks very much, Ward. It's 8 minutes after the hour. Spencer was out checking the weather, as he does every morning.
What a day.
It says it's really nice outside.
That's the scientific method. We've got a glorious day here in the New York area, finally, after a few days of kind of...
Perhaps stop the war. Asia Armanda is co-founder of Kareta, a Croatian feminist group that was among the first to learn of the rapes of thousands of women and young girls in Serbian concentration camps. She joins us now from Zagreb, Croatia. Catherine McKinnon is a noted feminist lawyer, a professor of law at the University of Michigan. She is representing 5 groups of women survivors of Bosnian war atrocities. She is joining us this morning from San Francisco. And good morning to both of you. Ms. McKinnon, I'd like to start with you. When we talk about these rapes, we are not talking about a handful of soldiers who just took advantage of some women. We're talking about really a systematic kind of rape. What makes the rape crimes against them so significant in this particular war?
Well, of course, women are always raped in wars, but especially women civilians. But in this instance, rape is a policy of the Serbian aggressors against Croatia and against Bosnia-Herzegovina. In particular, it's a genocidal means.
Asia, for many months, you have been talking to women who have come out, who have told you their stories. What are they telling you?
They are telling most horrible stories. I talked to 10-year-old girls who were raped I talked to 80-year-old grandmothers who were raped. They all told me that they were raped systematically, that is not just a war rape, that is a rape of genocide, that is rape and genocide. They told me that they are not escaping from the war, but that they are escaping from something else. And I didn't understand, what do they mean they are not escaping from the war? From what are they escaping? And they told me they are escaping from the rape. So it was clear that this rape used as a tool of ethnic cleansing, or better to say genocide, is very effective and very cheap. They saw their own mothers and grandmothers to be raped. They saw their own children to be raped. A man from Vukovar Seller told me that his greatest fear in the time when Vukovar was invaded by Serbian soldiers was that he will be forced to rape his own mother. So we have more than 100 concentration camps, and in all of them there are women who are raped in Bosnia. We had only in Omarska 11,000 people. We have today from Vukovar region missing 800 women, still missing, young women. We don't know where they are. So the stories were horrible. Some of them were raped with bottles. Some of them were gang raped systematically every evening by 10 men.
Ms. McKinnon, not only are these women being raped, but they're also being kept in concentration camps beyond the time when they could have an abortion. They're making sure that they have these babies. And I've heard all kinds of numbers, from 20,000 to 70,000. I don't know if there's any way we can really know, but what kind of legal remedies are there?
Well, of course, the UN has voted in February to set up a war crimes tribunal, and the crimes that they have in view include these atrocities to women. They include the rapes and, of course, the systematic murders, which typically follow the rapes. So we're only talking to the women that have survived this, and it also hopefully will encompass the enforced pregnancies you referred to, in which non-Serbian women are forcibly impregnated through rape and then forced to carry those pregnancies to term, the idea being that they will give birth to some Serbian fifth column. It's a further destruction of the Muslim people and the Croatian people, indeed all non-Serbs, in what was called Yugoslavia. The International War Crimes Tribunal is currently on track, and it's going forward. In addition, we have, that is, Bosnian women's organizations of survivors and those who support them, as well as a named individual woman, have filed a suit in New York against Radovan Karadzic, the leader of the Bosnian Serbs and head war criminal, for all his violations of women and children under international law. So that's a domestic U.S. remedy that has been brought on behalf of women over there. I'm representing them together with the Now Legal Defense and Education Fund in New York.
All right. Ms. McKinnon, thank you very much. Asia, thank you as well.
Thank you.
We'll keep checking on the story and how soon that War Crimes Tribunal will take effect. Another young woman infected with the AIDS virus by Florida dentist David Acker. She speaks out when Good Morning America continues.
Century 21 wishes to thank the more than 33,000 Northwest families who bought or sold through their offices in 1992, and remind you that with interest rates at a 20-year low, now is the time to buy. RV Park with store living quarters directly off exit 52 on I-5, where the Cowlitz meets the Toutle River close to Mount St. Helens Highway. This 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in North Salem offers indoor atrium, private yard with RV pad, shop, large deck, and assumable federal VA loan. Immaculate 2+ bedroom, 1 3/4 bath home, approximately 1,440 square feet, fireplace, sunroom, double garage, RV or boat storage, and basement. Spacious elegance with a casual touch in Bend. Beautiful custom home on a 1.55-acre tree-covered hillside. Exceptional detailing makes this home a must-see. When calling, use the corresponding ID numbers. Century 21. put number 1 to work for you.
Mercury Tracer LTS is one small car you can buy by the numbers. With more horsepower than Honda Civic, Nissan Sentra, or Toyota Corolla. More room and space to stretch out in. And this number. Because when you buy Tracer LTS right now, you get air conditioning and automatic transmission at no extra charge. Tracer, it all adds up. See your Lincoln Mercury dealer today.
73 trucks loaded with 2,200 sofa and love seat sets, part of a multi-million-dollar factory purchase, have arrived at Levitt's. We made this huge volume purchase at 25 to 35% below our normal purchase price and passed the savings on to you. Prices from $497 to $697 for both sofa and matching love seats. Think of it, a sofa and love seat for as little as $497. But hurry, this is a limited offer.
You'll love it at Levitt's.
It's 18 minutes after the hour. So far, only one healthcare worker is known to have infected patients with the AIDS virus, and that is Florida dentist Dr. David Acker. 5 cases of HIV infection were initially linked to Dr. Acker, the most famous being Kimberly Bergalis, who you'll recall died of AIDS in 1991. But recently, a 6th patient, 18-year-old Sherry Johnson, announced she too had been infected by Dr. Acker.
The reason I came forward was I have been told that you cannot get it from a health worker. Well, I found that to be wrong because I did.
This morning, Sherry Johnson is joining us from Stuart, Florida for her first television interview. Also with us, Sherry's stepmother, Sue Johnson, her father, Johnny Johnson, and the family's attorney, Bob Montgomery. I appreciate all of you being with us. Sherry, obviously, let me start with you. This has been a tough couple of months for you.
Yeah, it has.
You learned about the HIV infection when?
I went to apply for the military, and I got a registered letter around New Year's, and we were asked to come down because they had found a medical problem, and they needed to talk to us about it. And we went down on January 6th, and that's when they told me that I was HIV positive.
And having been a patient of Dr. Acker, when you heard from the Navy that there was a medical problem, did you figure right away what it was?
That's what I thought it was, and they kept telling me, you know, you can't be serious, you know, that's not it. You never had any invasive procedures done or anything like that. All you did was drill on your teeth. And I just had a feeling that it was.
There was a number of months before you announced it publicly. Why was the wait?
Well, we waited because mainly so I could try to get through school without any interruptions and, you know, things like that.
How have your friends reacted now that you've been
Oh, they have all been great. They've been really supportive, and nothing's changed. If it has, it's for the better.
And your health now?
I'm feeling fine today. You know, I have my good days and my bad days, but most of all, I'm feeling pretty good.
Mrs. Johnson, I know the family supports mandatory HIV testing for healthcare workers, right?
Yes, we do.
Tell me why, because only one healthcare worker so far, this Dr. Acker, has shown to have infected patients. Why do you think we ought to test an entire industry?
I don't think that we'll ever know for sure whether Dr. Acker did this intentionally or whether it was an accident. But if you consider the work that Sherry had done, which was minor, if this was intentional, he is the first so far, but who knows what the future holds. We're just ordinary people. I mean, we're nobody. If this can happen to us, this can happen to anyone.
Mr. Johnson, you were with Sherry at the point she found out from the Navy?
Yes, it was.
Tell me how you reacted, how the families reacted, what it's done to the family.
Well, it's definitely changed our lives. When we initially found out, we had to drive from Martin County down to Miami, which is quite a drive, but that was probably the longest drive after we found out back up here. And since that time, it has drastically changed our lives. And
Mr. Montgomery, you've represented, what, 4 patients of Dr. Acker's now?
Well, Barbara Webb, Rick Driscoll, and, of course, Kimberly, and now Sherry, yes.
What's to be done?
Well, you mentioned mandatory testing earlier. You see, let's talk about what would have happened had Sherry not been diagnosed. Here she would be, an innocent, having gone into the hospital, for example, say for an appendicitis. The hospital could never have taken a blood test to determine whether or not she was HIV positive. That's just wrong. If they could have taken an x-ray to determine whether or not she had tuberculosis, they could have taken a blood test to determine whether or not she had a venereal disease, but they could not take a test in order to determine whether or not she was HIV positive. So here you have healthcare workers who would have been involved in an invasive procedure and, of course, unprotected. With Kimberly Bergalis, we are so much for mandatory testing because that's the only way that this disease can be controlled.
Appreciate it. Sherry, all the best to you. Thanks for joining us. Johnson's and Bob Montgomery. Thank you.
Afraid swimsuit season will reflect badly on you?
And I'm confident that when I did Basic Instinct, which was a $50 million movie, that I didn't carry that movie by the 6 seconds of crossing my legs.
Yeah.
That movie was carried for 2 hours. I did that because I can do my job.
Lot of tabloid articles, lot of stuff about your personal life. And I know you want to keep it personal, that's fine. But when tabloid kind of journalism begins to revolve around you and you become big and people start talking more about what's going on in your private life and what's going on in the public life, does that interfere with the career?
Oh, it doesn't interfere with the career. I mean, you know, the peculiar thing about fame is it has the same power however it's generated. So, oddly enough, the peculiar and supposedly adverse press just fueled that fire. I don't respect the caliber of journalism in those papers, and so I view it pretty much in the same way as I view someone speaking about me who I don't respect the caliber of their character.
But I don't read the tabloids, and I've read a lot about your private life in the last, 2 months? And I would think that would bedevil you, that you're being, you know, every little nuance of private life gets
It surprises
trotted out
me.
and paraded to you.
It surprises me that people care about my private life. And I'm
People
flattered.
cared about Mary Pickford. People cared about Laurence Olivier.
Yeah,
people
I'm
care
surprised.
People care about
They
stars.
care about you, Charlie.
No. Television's different.
No?
Mm-mm. Television's different.
Why
You're
do you
smaller
think
than
that
life
is?
on a television screen. You're on a 21-inch screen.
So it's safer.
You're on
and-
a 21-foot screen.
Right.
So you're larger than life
Right.
in that situation. And you wear diamonds with your bathrobe.
Well,
I don't.
girls gotta live.
Sharon Stone, the movie Sliver, opens today. 18 minutes now before the hour. A fond farewell for America's favorite bar. The Good Morning America continues here on ABC.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away?
Imagine the Northwest's largest selection of genuine Lazy Boy furniture. Hundreds of different models with over 2,000 fabric and color choices, all on sale. Imagine 2 great Lazy Boy chairs for one incredible low price. It's Pick-A-Pair at Northwest Furniture Galleries. Lazy Boy recliners, 2 for $5.99. Swivel rockers, 2 for $4.99. Reclining sofas from just $6.49. It's the Pick-A-Pair sale going on right now, only at Northwest Furniture Galleries.
Well, that's great, Steve. Hi, everybody. It's me, John Erling, here at Gresham RV Center with President Steve Williams. Steve was just telling me about all these beautiful, affordable Winnebagos, and especially this Bargain Warrior for only $239.13 per month. And the Winnebago Brave, another great buy, and it's only $352.61 per month. Low payments, low interest rates, and top dollar for your trade. Folks, if you want to talk RVs, you want to talk to the RV people here at Gresham RV Center, Oregon's #1 RV headquarters for sales and service.
The hour every spring, the biggest stars turn out for the Cannes Film Festival.
And one of the biggest stars these days is an Oscar winner for Glory and an Oscar nominee for Malcolm X. Mark has the story live from the French Riviera. Good morning again.
Hi, Mark.
Good morning again to both of you. Well, Denzel Washington picked Much Ado About Nothing for his first role after Malcolm X. We caught up with Denzel Washington yesterday in Cannes. Have you been to Cannes before?
No, first time.
Do you know what you're in store for?
No, tell me what's going to happen.
Well, they keep talking about walking up these steps. You have your premiere tonight for Much Ado About Nothing.
Right.
And the paparazzi will be there, the fans will be there, and the road to the Palme d'Or is
I'm looking forward to it.
How is the European community in terms of movies different from the Los Angeles community, the Hollywood community?
Well, they're very enthusiastic, for one thing, and you know, because you have so many different cultures in such a small area, you know, like today, all day, we've been doing all different kinds of interviews with the French and the Italians and the Spanish, and I've been hacking up each one of those languages, trying to speak in the native tongue.
Why did you make this your first choice after Malcolm X, Much Ado About Nothing?
Number one, because Kenneth Branagh is a director I respect, because we were shooting in Tuscany, you know, because it wasn't a film that I had to carry, as I had to do in Malcolm X in a sense, because it was going to be a lot of fun, and you know, just that combination of reasons, and also because it was fun, I needed sort of a rest or a break. I didn't really know how to get back to work after Malcolm X. I didn't take any parts for a while because I just didn't have the energy to do them. So this was perfect.
Denzel, they say Shakespeare's plays are some of the toughest things for an actor to put on, so to speak. How do you take it apart, reassemble it, and make it yours again?
Well, in this particular film, all I did was drink some wine. Yeah, had a little pasta. You know, I was staying in this 1,200-year-old house, so I, you know, walk around the house naked, and that kind of got me into it. You know, method acting.
Method acting.
Yeah, put the sword on and the leather pants and do it.
How do you get the rhythm to get it to sound natural?
Well, again, that's where Kenneth really helped, and because we had a really strong cast of actors from Great Britain who are well-versed in Shakespeare, they helped us quite a bit, helped the American actors quite a bit, and made us feel comfortable. Just went at it.
We talked about the difference a little bit between Europe and Hollywood. How was Malcolm X received over here as opposed to being received over in America? Was there a difference?
Well, you know, I actually didn't come over here when Malcolm X was released. I didn't come for any of the premieres. I was over in the Orient, and it was very well received in Japan. But, you know, I find just from the interviews that I have done, they seem to like the controversy of it a lot more, and I want to get right into that, you know.
What do you have coming next after Much Ado?
After that, I've done a picture with Jonathan Demme, which deals with AIDS and homosexuality. It's called Philadelphia. It's about two lawyers. Tom Hanks plays a lawyer who's gay and contracts AIDS, and I play a lawyer who ends up representing him, who is homophobic.
So we'll be looking for that. Well, have fun on the steps tonight. They're talking about it.
All right.
Denzel, thanks a lot.
Okay.
All about method acting. One thing, the villa that they shot Much Ado About Nothing in, there was a family that had a daughter that commissioned an artist to do a painting of her. The woman's name was Mona Lisa. How about that little factoid for you? Denzel Washington.
And the most amazing thing about that movie was they did not change this villa at all in Much Ado About Nothing. I mean, I think they told me they added a kitchen or something to the villa.
And instead of being in the studio, they shot a lot of it outdoors and everything, but Don Pedro, that's who he plays in Much Ado. I thought he nailed it. Denzel Washington, one of our finest actors.
We'll get back.